is the Action Sports Jax postgame show.
Well, you just watched it. I'm really glad, darn glad, that the Jags were able to get over to Wembley last Monday and get that taste of defeat out of their mouths against the Seattle Seahawks, and then suit up today and play a real tough competitive game against the LA Rams. Hi, everybody. It's the postgame show with the twist. Dan Hickett here, breaking it down. Brent will join us from across the pond in just a minute. Remember when I told you that, one thing we've learned about these Jags is that they're at least going to compete every play, every down, and all the games are going to be close? Well, I lied. I lied to you. I'm sorry. I was wrong. They didn't today, and today is an unacceptable day. Today we judge the Jaguars as one of the worst teams in the NFL, judging by what we just saw. You saw it, I saw it, they stink. And who stinks the most? They're good players who aren't so good. They're good players who let them down. They're good players who did not make plays today. And they went over to England, presumably to bond. You know what they did? They walked around the Grove. They went out and had dinners. They enjoyed each other. It was a paid vacation, obviously, while the Rams just stayed in Baltimore, got some work in, flew over Saturday and whooped our ass. That's what just happened with the Rams and the Jags. So teacher gave pupil, student a lesson today, McVay over Cohen, and they're left to pick up the pieces in defeat. We'll have some post-game comments. We'll hear from Brent. We'll break it down, but it was an abomination. It was pathetic is what it was. 7 sacks the Jags allowed for the second straight week, so clearly they fixed the offensive line. They can't run the ball, but other than that, they can't throw the ball. Trevor's just average as the day is long. He's been average now as we are in year 5, game 7, and the receivers don't help him out at all, but it doesn't quite matter because on 4th and 2, you got a tight end about 20 yards away, and you throw it 5 yards over his head. And that's what we saw over and over again. Don't read much into the junkyard stats that the Jags had. That doesn't count, nor do the first downs. When it mattered the most, the Jags got whipped, all right? Third down efficiency, all of it. Penalties. We continue to not be able to fix the penalties. I suggest that Liam Cohen change the schedule this week. Here's what I would do if I was the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would say, fellas, I'd get them in the locker room. Don't take your gear off. We're going to go run some sprints out on the Wembley field here before we leave. Clearly, we're not ready, so we're going to go run some sprints. We're going to fly home, and when we get home on Monday, you know what we're going to do? We're going to practice. I'll give you Tuesday off because the league mandates I do. But Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be in full pads. Friday, we're going to have a scrimmage is what we're going to do, and we're going to scrimmage. Saturday, we're going to do some team bonding at the soon-to-be-defunct Adventure Landing, and then Sunday, a day of rest. That's what we're going to do this week in our bye week. If you guys think I'm giving you days off, you're out of your mind after that performance, what we did last week, because the season's unraveling right before our eyes. All right? All the feel-good is now gone. You knew it was going to happen. You felt like it was going to happen. And the Jags maybe just, after they can't get takeaways. If you can't get takeaways, we kind of see the real Jags, don't we? Don't we? So what do you have? I'm sorry, Liv. Let's hear from Brett Martineau. I don't think he's as angry as I am, but he might be. He's got a long flight home.
A London embarrassment, an England embarrassment, an embarrassment. Call it whatever the heck you want. The Jacksonville Jaguars actually look today like they've looked a lot of times over the last 15 to 20 years. And we thought maybe the bottom level of the Jags had gone away. Raised the floor? Not today against the Los Angeles Rams. The Jags stink, and they get blown out 35-7 to the Rams. The mentor beats the student for sure, but then the Rams offense beat the Jags defense, and the Rams defense beat the Jags offense, and special teams, well, yeah, that too. So the Jags have a ton of problems right now, and I think that's really the biggest issue. They have too many problems to just fix one. And you talk about the offense, Well, Trevor Lawrence was off at times, and he's not even close to the biggest of problems. 7 more sacks. Not sure the offensive line was as bad as last week, but the receivers couldn't get open much most of the afternoon, and when they did, they continue to drop passes. Brian Thomas Jr. can't figure it out 7 games in. Up and down roller coaster ride of a second season for Brian Thomas Jr. In the kicking game, Cam Little, do you trust him right now? Doesn't appear. He misses another field goal. So what is Liam Cohen going to trust? And then on top of that, how much do Liam Cohen and the staff have to own the penalties? A myriad of penalties once again. And they came into this game knowing that team, the Rams, play pretty clean football. So you better be able to play pretty clean football. Jags did not. Jags played awful football. They got into Rams territory 8 times. 8 times. Listen to this now. 8 times in opponent's territory. And they scored 7 points in the football game. A brutal way to go into the bye week. They've now lost 2 games in a row, and first real bit of adversity hits this new regime of Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, this staff, and this group of players. How will they respond to it? They come out of the bye against the Raiders, and it's a 10-game season now as the Jaguars are 4-3. We'll get to the locker room, talk more about it, and try to digest what was a brutal loss for the Jags coming up. In London, England, at Wembley Stadium, I'm Brent Martineau, Action Sports Jax.
All right, Brent mentioned that the Jags got into Rams territory 8 times. We looked at the second and third quarter specifically. They punted from the Rams 45. They missed a field goal at the Rams 32. Why you were going for it why weren't you going for it on 4th and 2, down 14-0? I have no idea, but they didn't. They tried to maybe give Cam Little some juice. He missed the field goal. Turned it over on downs at the 11, the 30, and the 27. They punted at the Rams 48. These were all chronological. And then you start to wonder, gosh, if they could just make field goals, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, it would have been 21-15, would have been a totally different game. But in the end, it didn't matter because the Rams, frankly, toyed with the Jaguars. And in fact, they let them, I believe they let them stop them on 3 straight 3-and-outs in the third quarter. This was the longest second half of any football game I've watched maybe in Jaguars history. It was just pathetic. I could call out names all day long. I'll start with the quarterback. When it matters, he doesn't make the plays, okay? By the way, less than 50%, that's pathetic. Forget the 296 yards. You threw it 48 times. Forget the touchdown. It came in junk time, although nice to see Travis Hunter get in the end zone. Sacked 7 times. He went back to pass 48. Can't run the ball. That's another thing. So a couple interception or 2 drop, but it doesn't matter. He's not making the plays. The receivers aren't helping him out? No, they're not. But that's not the issue. It starts with the quarterback. It starts with the $55 million man. He's got to be much, much better. And he's not. He's just not. And I don't know when he's going to be. I don't know. I just don't know. Brian Thomas Jr., I don't know what in the blazes has happened to that guy. You told me off season, top 10 receiver in the league. Oh, Jag fan, we get mad when they don't include Brian BTJ. What about BTJ? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's terrible. I don't know what he did to get hurt at the end. He barely got touched, and he went down, and it looked like his shoulder. I mean, my gosh, awful. All right? The best receiver out there today wasn't Travis Hunter. It was Parker Washington, and then he had a drop. All right? They got the ball. They got the ball to Travis Hunter. They targeted him, but a lot of that was after the outcome was well known. And I think they're doing it wrong. Travis Hunter is the only guy who could stop Devontae Adams on the Jaguars' defensive field. Travis Hunter needs to be your number 1 cornerback and then get him the football 10, 15 times when he's in on offense. But or ask Travis. He'll say, just play me all the time. That's what he'd tell you. But they ain't doing it right. They ain't doing it right. De'Ami Brown's just a guy. Parker Washington's just a guy. Brian Thomas Jr. is just a guy right now. I mean, we've seen it in him, or did we? Did he just get junk yards last year? I don't know. But it stinks. We miss Brenton Strange, obviously. But guess what? Everybody's got guys hurt. Look at the Rams tight ends. Rams have 3 tight ends that don't look particularly fast. Higbee was terrible. Dropped a couple balls. Doesn't matter. Matthew Stafford played quarterback like you're supposed to play the position. Trevor should watch that. Make Trevor watch Matthew Stafford's game the whole way home. That's what we need. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what a Hall of Famer does. That's what a great quarterback is. It's frustrating. We start with Trevor. ETN is back to being ETN. Tootin was picked ahead of Scattaboo. Whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo, whoop-de-doo. Look, again, 44 yards. Oh, they didn't give it to Travis enough. Hold on. When it mattered, with the first 4, 5, 6 carries, he got nothing. Nothing. Tootin has done nothing in 7 games. Nothing. No ground game. No ground game for the last three games. Non-existent. Terrible. Offensive line, revamped. Gave up 7 sacks. We knew it was coming. They're a better D-line than Seattle. Seattle had 7 sacks. Part of it's Trevor's fault. Part of it's the offensive line's fault. Offense is awful. What do we score today? 7? What did we score last Sunday? 12? We hired the offensive coach. We'll get to the coach in a second. We'll keep going, though. I think we've covered everybody on the offense. Defensively, is Josh Hines-Allen alive? Trayvon? I get it. Trayvon's he's neutralized with the club on the hand. He's just neutralized. He can't do anything. But Josh Hines-Allen has done nothing this year. Half a sack. We had 1 sack on Stafford, and it was offset by the penalty. Oh, penalty? 13 of them. They declined a couple of them. 13 penalties. We had 65 going into the game, or 65 flags thrown us. I don't know how many total flags, but at least 13. Let's say 15. That's 80. It just keeps going up and up and up. Are we going to fix it? Or are we just not going to, we fix it? You got to fix it. It's pathetic. No pass rush. Defensive backs, no bueno. Jordan Lewis had his worst game. That hurt today because he's been pretty solid for us. Not having Devin Lloyd obviously hurts. I didn't see Ventrell Miller. Did anybody see Ventrell Miller today? Did he make a play? I don't know I don't know. Safeties. Ooh, Dewey. Not good, Dewey. Now, you get a bootleg penalty early. That was ridiculous. Parker Washington gets annihilated over the middle on our first drive. Nothing, which is fine. Dewey barely hits a big tight end or receiver in the end zone. Personal foul. What the heck are you talking about? So, but again, ain't the reason why we lost. They would have scored eventually anyway. So, offense stinks, defense stinks, coaching staff stinks, everything stinks. Special teams stink. No good. Parker Washington, touchdown return, or punt return for a touchdown. Jarian Jones, when you're running down the field, can't put your hand on the back. Listen, here's Travis Hunter. 87% of the offensive snaps. They targeted him a lot. They said they were gonna. They kept saying that, though. Well, they did. 8 for 101, got an NFL touchdown. Again, it was 28-0 when he got it, so don't get too excited, but it was nice. But they got to get him the ball, and they got to get him. You say 19% of the defensive snaps is what you have? Boy, that surprised me. I didn't think he played that much because he had 0 for the longest time. Maybe they played more a little bit. But, I don't see his guy catching the football. We need him on defense. We need him on offense. Probably need him at quarterback. Maybe need him at running back. Don't need him at punt return. Parker Washington's been good there. But, man, oh, man, what a disappointing performance by the Jags. Liv, pop up the schedule for me if you could. And we'll take a look at that going forward. Now, look, 4-3 is what you've earned going into the bye. And I know that every single one of us would have taken 4-3, okay? I would have. I was thinking more 2-5, 3-4 at best. So I love beating them down, which they deserve, but, and they're trending downward, and now they don't have wiggle room, but they did beat the Texans, Niners, and Chiefs, okay? They did beat the Texans, Niners, and Chiefs. That's really good, okay? Now, I don't see the team that beat them. I also saw a team that got 3 turnovers, 4 turnovers, 14-point play on a turnover, and now, don't get turnovers. Big loss. So what happens next? All right, you get the bye week. Again, not me. Coach Dan says, fellas, we're practicing. Ain't nobody having any days off. Nope. Oh, guys, let's go get rejuvenated. Let's go. We've worked hard. Get to work. Paying you a lot of money. Raiders and Texans away. Texans are playing better. Raiders in Vegas, who knows? All right? Got to at least get a split. Got to at least get a split. 5-4. 5-4. Chargers, Cardinals. What do you think? What do you think? If you can somehow manage a split, and I'm not saying you'll get it, right now I would say very iffy. Road is tough. Let's say you don't get it done, you're 5-6. Must win here. Let's say you get it, 6-6. For whatever reason, we tend to beat the Colts at home. Colts are good this year. Let's say we get them, 7-6. Jets at home, 8-6. Even though we had the Jets at home last year, we counted it as a win, and we didn't get it. Broncos, no way, 8-7. Colts, 8-8. Titans, home. Does it matter? I don't know. Will it matter? 9-8. Look, if the Colts keep winning, this thing's going to get moot real quick, okay? So the Colts play the Chargers today, which is an interesting game and one that we'll definitely keep an eye on. It's weird because it's only 1:18. We usually do this post-game show at 4:30 or 7:30, but we very rarely, once a year, we do it this early, obviously. And it was a long game today. But in the end, the Jaguars, or the Kitty Cats, soft kitty, warm kitty, little cup of fur, because that's how they played. That's what they deserve. You are what you are. Tony Baselli told me, judge us on Sundays. That's what he told me. All that matters is winning and losing. That's what he told me. So I'm judging them poorly today, as you should as well. And that should be unacceptable, honestly, to the organization. They're not that bad. They're not 35-7 bad. And it should be a very quiet plane ride home. Should be a very quiet plane ride home. I hope we learned our lesson and we go over there next year on Thursday, okay? Not on Monday, not on having the whole week. Oh, we did studies. I asked the player. Don't ask the players anything. The players look for the easy way out. Don't ask them that. You decide. Coach, don't ask them. You tell them. We're leaving Thursday night, baby. We'll get there Friday. You guys will be up. We'll get a little practice in. Saturday, we'll do our walkthrough. Sunday, we'll win the game. Then we'll come back home. Oh, Coach, let's go over there for Monday. And, tea and crumpets on Tuesday. We'll have a day off. And some of the guys will get to go play golf. And some of the guys will go out. And some of the guys will take their wives and all meet up and have fun. Let's do that, Coach. Liam Cohen got schooled today by his mentor, Sean McVay. There's the coaching tree for you. You can see it, I think. It starts with Mike Shanahan, whose son Kyle and good friend Sean both have been to Super Bowls. Sean beget Matt LaFleur. Kyle beget Mike McDaniel. They also beget Kevin O'Connell, who's done a nice job. Zach Taylor, Raheem Morris, but they look pretty good this year. And Liam Cohen, an early Coach of the Year candidate, suddenly slipping away. So what do you think, Shad Khan? Where are we? What now? Brent talked to Shad, and you know what? I'll give Shad credit on this one. He said, I've been down this road before the game today, in his interview with Brent. He said, we've seen this before. It's a long way to go. And we hit a big old bump today. Big old bump. So we fall to 4-3, which again, all is not lost. But we got work to do. We got a lot of work to do. Let's hear from Dewey Wingard in the locker room.
Well, we're definitely not going to jump on anybody, and everyone's giving us their best. But, early on, you get 14 takeaways in like 3 games. That helps a lot. So we'll see. But I haven't watched the film yet, and I'm not the head coach. So I have to be better in certain areas, and I'm going to be. And I can only control myself, and so can everyone else. So, like Josh said at the end of the, in the game after, or in the locker room after, everyone.
And it's got to get better. Safety play was not good today. The secondary has not been good. We're giving up 250 yards passing per game, and then we gave up 5 touchdowns with no picks today. 5 touchdowns, an international series record by Matthew Stafford today, as he, without Puka. Without Puka. Imagine if they had Puka Nacua today. Might have been worse. Might have been worse. So, Dewey Wingard, part of the problem today, not part of the solution. I don't know who played well today. I'll be curious to see what the film shows. I know what a lot of you guys, a lot of the guys out there like to give me all these, send me all these stats and these EVAs and these analytics and these PFF grades and, oh, this guy's really good. Trust your eyes, man. Trust your eyes. Watch the game when it matters. Once the game doesn't matter, once it gets to 28. I mean, think about it this way, man. The Jags were down 21-0, okay? They were down 21-0 at the half. And you know what happened? They got the ball, and they 10-play drive, and they can't convert a 4th down. And then they get a 3-and-out, and they get a 12-play drive, and they can't convert on a 4th down. Then they get a 3-and-out. Then they get another drive, and they can't, or they get the ball in good field position. The offense is terrible. I mean, come on, coach. You're the offensive guy. Let's crank this thing up. We can't keep sitting there and blaming the guy. If it's not working, change it up. How many times are we going to run the 4th down end around? It's going to get sniffed out here. It almost did today. I think the Rams were ready for it, but it was a good effort. Good effort to get the 1st down, move the chains, but it seems like we go to that play every time on 4th. I know we've done it 3 times in the regular season, once in the preseason. I guess you can run it till they stop it, maybe? Maybe. How about we fake it and go the other way? How about the Rams on their to make it, 28-7, they throw it to the end zone. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. It's a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work to do for the Jaguars going forward. So they'll fly home, lick their wounds, week-to-week league. Hopefully we can, get back out there on the road and find a way. I really would have liked to split, not a 2-game losing streak going into the bye. Fan base is wobbly, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You should be. We've been down this road before, haven't we? We've been down this road before. And a lot of the trust that was built up, a lot of the excitement, the Monday night high of beating the Kansas City Chiefs now seems like the Sunday afternoon high of beating the Patriots. The year the Patriots went, with Tom Brady the year after in 2018. Just doesn't feel right now watching our team. And we don't understand why we keep getting penalties. 4th and 5, Josh Hines-Allen jumps? Are you kidding me? That's non-disciplined football, man. A lot of non-complimentary football as well. Just a bad day overall by the Jags. But you can't just write it off that way. You can't just write it off that way as, it's just a bad day. Can't do it. Fix it. It's the coaching staff's job. Fix it. Fix it now. All right? What's not working? Why do we keep getting 13 penalties a game? Why? Why can't we cover anybody in the secondary? Who's playing? Who shouldn't be playing? Time to take somebody out, put somebody else in. I don't know. Travis Hunter's the easy solution. What about Jarian Jones? Is he no good? Are the safeties playing good enough? Where's the pass rush? We're another year. I thought when we got Emmanuel Ogbah, I thought we got a guy who can get us 5 to 7 sacks. I thought wrong. Does he have a sack this year? Is he existent? Does he play? Do you ever hear his name? He's our 3rd pass rusher. I love Smooty Smoot, but maybe at the end of the line here. These guys don't make plays, man. I will say one thing we were good at in the second half particularly is up the middle on the run. We were still physical there out there. I thought Foye Oluokun, plays his rear end off. And he continues to play his rear end off. So I'll give him a shout out. I thought, I don't know who else you're going to find on that team that, played football today well. I don't think anyone did. I don't think anyone stands out. I don't think, we got a kicker problem out of the blue. Where did this come from? Our guy Cam Little, man, I thought he was going to have a huge year. I thought he's the best kicker in the NFL. Here he is in year 2. Cam Little and BTJ symbolize a little bit of what's going on with this team. Guys that you're counting on. And again, I don't blame the guys who have their roles carved out on this team. I blame the guys who are supposed to be the difference makers. I think that's where the fault lies. The guys who are supposed to be the difference makers are not playing like they're capable of. Brian Thomas Jr., top 100 player in the league, top 10 receiver in the league? No. How about no? Trevor Lawrence? How about no? $55 million, Trev. Got to step up, man. Got to lead this team. Got to do better. 4th and 2 to the tight end. You fly it 5 yards over his head. 4th down run when you got no shot of making it. Got to at least throw it up in the air if it's 4th down. Got to give us a chance. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We got problems. All right. We're going to get Liam Cohen's comments before we get out of here. Hear from him real quickly at the podium. It's loading up for us right now. So I told you it's the post-game show with a twist now. Apparently we're breaking some of the rules, so we had to fix some things. Not that I'm admitting anything. I admit nothing. On the post-game show. All alleged, nothing proven. We admit nothing here at Action Sports Jax. We're just simply doing our job, trying to bring you the very best right away, as best we can, with all the information. Here's Liam Cohen.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, but you just like everybody else in there, you got to look inward first. Like, what am I doing as the head football coach that's not clear right now? How am I communicating these things? How are we practicing these things? That's what I've got to look at, right? I mean, I've got to look at the whole thing ultimately, but not going to stand up here and blame these players. It starts with me. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that some of the some of those things have hurt us, like being over aggressive and being amped up in the last couple of weeks has actually been a negative in some ways in terms of the penalties and some of the mistakes we've made. You wouldn't have guessed that we were here for a week prepared, ready to go play in this atmosphere by looking at it.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think, though, it's important that you call out the players to a point, maybe not publicly, but behind those closed doors. I think you better tell those players. I think, I appreciate you taking the heat. That's fine. And you do deserve some of the heat. That's fine as well. But listen, to think these players aren't held accountable? Come on, man. Drop passes, missed assignments, penalties. Look inwardly. Hello, I play for the Jaguars. I'm just not good enough, doggone it. We got to turn this thing around, man, and we got to turn it around quickly. Now, we got a bye week. Again, I'm practicing, but I'm not the coach, so I know what's going to happen. We'll get back. We'll work out Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll let the guys go off to their college schools and watch their colleges play, yada, yada, yada. We'll see you next week, rejuvenated, ready to go. Whatever. You do what you want to do. But look, the Jags are 4-3. It's not the end of the world. But they got to fix it quickly. So meaningful football in December. We still have that on the table, hopefully. So appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the post-game show with us. We broke it all down. We heard from Brett, heard from Liam Cohen, heard from Dewey Wingard as well. Jags lose today. Big 35-7 to the LA Rams in London to fall to 4-4 there all time. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax postgame show.